Cat Files Chronicles, Episode 1. The Cat at the End of the Hall. The cat appeared every night at exactly 2:13 a.m. It never meowed. It never scratched. It never tried to come inside. It just sat at the end of the hallway, perfectly still, staring at the door of an apartment that had been empty for years. And on the 7th night, the door opened. I moved into the building at the beginning of winter. It was an old apartment block on the edge of the city. Not abandoned, not dangerous, just tired. The kind of building where the hallway lights buzzed, the pipes knocked in the walls, and every door looked like it had been painted too many times. My apartment was 6A. Across from me was 6B. The door to 6B was dark wood, with an old brass number and a peephole covered from the inside. No welcome mat, no shoes, no sound. When the landlord handed me the keys, I asked him, "Who lives there?" He glanced at the door. Then he looked away. "No one," he said. "How long has it been empty?" He paused. Then he said, "A while." That was all. At the time, I didn't care. The rent was cheap, the apartment was quiet, and quiet was what I wanted. For the first few nights, everything was normal. Old building sounds, creaking floors, pipes knocking, a television murmuring somewhere below me, doors opening and closing on other floors. Nothing strange, nothing frightening, just lonely sounds, the kind you get used to. Then, on the 4th night, I heard the knocking. 3 soft taps. Knock, knock, knock. I opened my eyes. The room was dark. The only light came from my phone screen beside the bed. I checked the time. 2:13 a.m. At first, I thought someone was at my door. I got up, walked across the apartment, and looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty. No person, no shadow, no movement, just the yellow hallway light, the old carpet, and the door to apartment 6B. Then I saw it. A cat, a grey tabby, thin but not dirty. It was sitting at the end of the hallway near the stairwell door, perfectly upright, tail curled around its paws, eyes fixed on apartment 6B. I whispered through the door, "Hey." The cat's ears twitched, but it didn't look at me. It just kept staring at that empty apartment, like it was waiting for someone. Then the hallway light flickered. Once, twice, when it came back on, the cat was gone. I told myself it was nothing. A stray cat, an old building, a tired mind, nothing more. But the next night, it happened again. Knock, knock, knock. 2:13 a.m. I went to the door, looked through the peephole. The cat was there again. Only this time, it was closer. It sat directly in front of apartment 6B, facing the door, staring at the handle. Then the cat lowered its head, slowly, not like it was sniffing, more like listening. Its ear pressed close to the gap beneath the door. And then I heard something from inside 6B, a faint sound, slow, dragging, like fabric being pulled across the floor. I stepped back from the door. My first thought was simple. The landlord had lied. Someone was living there. Maybe an old tenant. Maybe someone who never came out. Maybe the apartment wasn't empty at all. The next morning, I found the landlord in the lobby. His name was Mr. Hale. He was an older man with silver hair, tired eyes, and the kind of face that looked like it had forgotten how to smile. I asked him about 6B. He didn't look up. "What about it? Are you sure nobody lives there?" His hand stopped for a second. Then he continued sorting the mail. No one lives there. I heard something last night. Old building, he said. There's also a cat. That made him look at me. What kind of cat? A grey tabby. He comes around at night, sits outside 6B. His expression changed. Not fear. Recognition. That was worse. He lowered his voice and said, "Don't feed it." I frowned. Why? Because then it'll keep coming back. It already keeps coming back. Mr. Hale looked toward the stairs. Then he said, "And don't let it into your apartment." Before I could ask anything else, he walked away. That night, I stayed awake on purpose. I made coffee at midnight, sat on the sofa, turned off every light except the small lamp beside the window. At 2:12 a.m., the building went quiet, completely quiet. The pipes stopped knocking. The television downstairs went silent. Even the wind outside seemed to fade. Then my phone changed to 213, and the knocking came. Knock, knock, knock. I stood up, walked to the door, looked through the peephole. The cat was there. But this time, it wasn't staring at 6B. It was staring at me. Its eyes reflected the hallway light, pale green, wide, still. And I know how this sounds, but the cat looked worried, not hungry, not angry, worried, as if it had been trying to warn me, and I'd been too stupid to understand. Then the handle of apartment 6B began to turn. Slowly, very slowly. The cat turned its head. The door opened, just a few inches. There was no light inside, only darkness, thick darkness, heavy darkness, as if the apartment had no walls beyond the doorway, no floor, no ceiling, just empty space. The cat backed away. Its fur rose along its spine. Then a voice came from inside. A woman's voice, old, soft, almost gentle. "Come here." The cat hissed. I had never heard an animal make a sound like that. It wasn't fear, it was hate. The door opened another inch. Every sensible part of me said, "Go back to bed, lock your door, pretend you heard nothing." But instead, I whispered, "Hello." The hallway went silent. Then the woman's voice answered, not from across the hall, not from inside 6B, from right outside my door. "You have him." I froze. The cat suddenly threw itself against my door. Its claws scratched at the wood near the bottom, not like it wanted food, not like it wanted attention, like it was desperate. I don't know why I opened the door. Maybe pity, maybe panic, maybe because I needed proof that I wasn't imagining everything. I unlocked the door, opened it just wide enough. The cat shot inside. It ran past my feet, across the room, and vanished under the sofa. I slammed the door shut, across the hall. Apartment 6B was still open, just a crack. The hallway light flickered. Inside 6B, something moved. Not a person. Not exactly. More like the darkness itself leaned toward the doorway. Then the woman whispered, "You shouldn't have done that." The door to 6B closed, very gently. Click. I didn't move for a long time. The cat stayed under the sofa until morning. When the sun came up, everything felt ridiculous. The hallway looked normal. Apartment 6B was closed. There were no strange marks, no scratches on the floor, no proof of anything. The cat came out around 9. In daylight, it looked ordinary, thin, grey, calm. It stretched, yawned, and walked into my kitchen like it had lived there for years. I gave it water. Then, even though Mr. Hale had told me not to, I gave it food. By noon, I went downstairs to find him. He was in the basement laundry room, replacing a light bulb. When he saw me, he sighed. "You opened the door." It wasn't a question. I said, "What is going on with 6B? He turned off his flashlight. For a moment, the basement was lit only by the weak fluorescent light above the washing machines. Then he said, "Her name was Margaret Vale." I waited. She lived in 6B for 32 years. Quiet woman, no family, no visitors. Paid rent on time. Never caused trouble. "The woman?" I asked. He nodded. "She had a cat?" "She had many cats over the years," he said. "But the grey one was the last. She called him Oliver." I thought of the cat upstairs. What happened to her? "She died." The way he said it told me there was more. He looked toward the stairs, then continued. "She wasn't found right away. There was a winter storm, power outage. People thought she had gone to stay with someone. By the time anyone checked," he stopped. I didn't ask him to finish. "What happened to the cat?" I asked. Mr. Hale looked at me. "That's the thing. The cat was found inside the apartment with her." I stared at him. "He died too?" Mr. Hale nodded. "After that, we cleaned the unit, repainted, replaced the carpet. Tried renting it again." "Tried?" "The first tenant lasted 6 weeks. Said someone knocked every night at 2:13. Said she heard an old woman calling for a cat." "And the next tenant?" "3 nights. The next?" "1 night." I thought of the voice. "You have him." "What does she want?" I asked. Mr. Hale looked suddenly older. "I think she wants her cat back." When I returned to my apartment, the cat was sitting on the sofa. It looked at me calmly, as if we had reached an agreement I didn't remember making. I should have taken it outside. I should have called someone. I should have packed a bag and left. Instead, I named him Oliver. That night, nothing happened. No knocking, no voice, no open door. Oliver slept at the foot of my bed. Heavy, warm, real. For 3 nights, the building was quiet. Then, on the 4th night, I woke up cold. Not chilly, freezing. Oliver was sitting on my chest, not sleeping, sitting. His ears were flat. His eyes were fixed on the bedroom doorway. Then I heard the knocking, but not from the front door, from inside my apartment. Knock, knock, knock. I turned my head slowly. The sound came from the hallway closet. Oliver growled, low, trembling. I lived alone. The closet door was closed. Knock, knock, knock. I sat up, holding Oliver without thinking. The closet handle moved, just a little. I whispered, "No." The handle stopped. For a few seconds, nothing happened. Then the woman's voice came from inside the closet. "Oliver." The cat twisted violently in my arms. The closet door opened half an inch. Darkness showed through the gap, and from inside came a smell. Old flowers, cold air, damp wood, something sweet that had gone bad. I ran. I grabbed my keys, my phone, Oliver, and I left the apartment barefoot. The hallway outside was dark. All the lights were off, except one. Apartment 6B. Its door was wide open, and from inside came a warm yellow glow. Not the dead darkness from before, a real apartment light, soft, inviting. I could see wallpaper, a small table, a framed photograph, a lamp with a stained shade, and standing in the doorway was an old woman, small, pale, white hair pinned neatly behind her head, a long nightdress, a cardigan over her shoulders. She looked sad, so sad that for one horrible moment, I almost felt sorry for her. Her eyes moved to the cat in my arms. "Oliver," she said. The cat went completely still. The old woman smiled. "There you are." I backed toward the stairs. Her smile faded. "You took him?" "No," I whispered. "He came to me. He is mine." Her voice changed on that last word. Not louder, deeper. The warm light inside 6B flickered, and for 1 second, I saw the apartment as it really was. Empty, rotting. No table, no lamp, no photograph. Just a dark room, and something standing where the old woman had been. Something wearing her shape badly. Oliver screamed. Not meowed. Screamed. The hallway lights burst back on. I ran. Down 6 flights of stairs. Through the lobby. Out into the empty street. I didn't stop until I was under a streetlight. Barefoot on the pavement. Holding a cat that should not have been alive. Behind me, on the 6th floor, one window was lit. Apartment 6B. A figure stood behind the glass, watching. I moved out the next day. I left most of my furniture behind. I never went back for the deposit. A week later, Mr. Hale called me. He didn't say hello. He just said, "Did you take the cat?" I looked across my new apartment. Oliver was sleeping in a patch of sunlight. "Yes," I said. Mr. Hale was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "Good. Why?" He breathed out slowly. "Because last night, 6B was quiet. For almost a year, Oliver lived with me. He wasn't affectionate exactly. He tolerated me, sat near me, watched the doors. Sometimes, in the middle of the night, he would wake suddenly and stare into a corner until I turned on every light. But the knocking stopped. No voice, no old woman, no apartment 6B. I started to believe it was over. Then, one winter night, I woke at 2:13 a.m. Oliver was not on the bed. I found him sitting by the front door, upright, still, staring at the handle. This was a different apartment, a different building, a different part of the city, but the air had gone cold, and from the hallway outside came 3 soft taps. Knock, knock, knock. Oliver looked back at me. For the first time since I had known him, he meowed. It was small, almost apologetic. Then the door handle turned. Just a little. I stepped forward and whispered, "No." The knocking stopped. A voice came from the other side of the door. The same old woman, only now. She sounded tired. "Please," she said. "I'm lonely." Oliver lowered his head. "I only want what's mine." For one terrible second, I almost opened the door. Maybe Margaret had loved that cat. Maybe death had not made her evil. Maybe it had only made her loneliness endless. Then Oliver hissed, and from the other side, the old woman hissed back, not like a person, like something pretending to remember how grief sounded. I backed away. The door stopped moving. The cold faded. Oliver stayed by the door until morning. After that, the knocking came once a year, always in winter, always at 2:13 a.m., always 3 soft taps. Knock, knock, knock. And every year, Oliver sat by the door, watching, waiting, guarding. I never knew what he really was. A ghost, a memory, a second chance, a warning, maybe all of them. Oliver stayed with me for 6 more years. On his last night, he climbed onto my bed with difficulty. He pressed his forehead against my hand. He was tired, too tired. At 2:13 a.m., the knocking came. Knock, knock, knock. Oliver opened his eyes. I whispered, Don't go." He stood slowly, walked to the front door. The door opened by itself, just a crack. Warm yellow light spilled through. I smelled old flowers. Then I heard Margaret's voice, soft, almost human again. "There you are." Oliver looked back once, at me. Then he walked into the light. The door closed. I never saw him again. The next morning, there were no paw prints, no fur on the blanket, no food left in his bowl, only his collar, placed neatly in front of the door. Years have passed. I live somewhere else now. A newer building, brighter halls, better locks. But every winter, I still wake up at 2:13 a.m. I lie in bed and I listen. Most years there is nothing. No knocking, no voice, no old woman. But last night, I heard something outside my door, scratching softly near the floor, like claws against wood. Then, a cat's voice, small, familiar, calling to be let in. I haven't opened the door, not yet, but the scratching hasn't stopped, and every few minutes, from somewhere farther down the hall, I hear an old woman whisper, "Don't let him in." Then the cat scratches again, once, twice, 3 times. Slowly, patiently, like it knows I am standing there, like it knows my hand is already on the lock. I tell myself it cannot be Oliver. Oliver is gone. I watched him walk into that light. I watched the door close behind him. But then, the cat outside makes that sound again, that soft, broken little sound. And this time, it sounds like my name, not clearly, not like a person would say it, but close enough to make my blood go cold. From the end of the hallway, the old woman whispers again, lower this time, closer. "Don't let him in." Then the scratching stops. For 1 second, everything is silent. No wind, no pipes, no footsteps, nothing. Then I hear something else. Not scratching, not knocking, breathing. Right outside my door, low, heavy, waiting. And beneath it, a cat purring, softly, happily, as if something on the other side has finally come home. Some pets find their way home. Others bring something home with them.